All right, on today's show, we're exploring YouTube updates important to marketers, including more info on the Shorts algorithm versus the VODs, videos on demand, or the long video algorithm. Always good to know. Also, YouTube is using AI to show us what videos that we should be making on our channels, and a really cool way to reach more people around the world that is also AI powered, but I think this is going to be a game changer for some businesses and brands. My name is Jerry Potter. Yes, it rhymes with the Boy Wizard, host of the Social Media Marketing Talk Show, a production from Social Media Examiner, where we break down the latest social media news and what it means for marketers like you. And today I'm joined by Diana Gladney, a YouTube expert and consultant. Her YouTube channel is designed to help entrepreneurs simplify the video creation process, and she's host of the Video Simplified podcast. Diana, welcome to the show.
Why, thanks so much for having me here. I'm pumped to be back on the show.
Yeah, so let's talk algorithm first. We all know, what affects the algorithm. Well, how long do they watch? They watch more than once. Did they rewind? Did they click on it? All of these different things. But there are some differences between the Shorts algorithm and the videos on demand, or the longer algorithm, that YouTube has been clarifying a little bit more for us. So tell us about these updates and how we can kind of utilize these as we plan our content.
Yeah, 100%. And so there's always been the question and the debate back and forth, especially once Shorts was not something that was seen as a short-term thing, but something that was going to be long-term, something that we need to pay attention to. Mm-hmm. And that's whether or not is the algorithm different, which is how content is being fed out to our viewers, as that means how our videos for our business and our content is being pushed out to our ideal target audiences or potential subscribers. Is it different for Shorts? Is it different for my regular long videos, or is it combined? We finally got an answer on that yes, they are different, but they're trying to get everybody to understand, instead of thinking of it as, trying to fight the algorithm essentially for one version versus another, think about it as your audience preference or like their social behavior is going to be different per their viewing, because it is important to know, like, we can scroll, like, it only takes like 2 or 3 seconds for you to know if you want to keep watching this short, or do you want to scroll past it? Versus with a regular video, it's a much more slower process. And so instead of thinking algorithm, they want you to think audience. And I think that's a perfect positioning and framing for us to know how to better phrase that content. And essentially, yes, it is different algorithms, but while it may be the same viewer, while they're viewing Shorts, they're different than when they're trying to look for regular long form content.
Yeah, and that's a great point of clarification. And they essentially said, somebody can watch 24 shorts easily in the same amount of time that they might watch a relatively short, longer video. And so the good news, I think, for smaller channels is this gives a better chance of maybe some of that content getting there, just because they're saying they're willing to test more stuff for people just to kind of see what they like. Even if somebody only watches a couple of categories or videos, they're like, well, maybe they'll like this adjacent topic. So that's a good thing. But my biggest takeaway from this was, when you're making your long form videos, you can sometimes, if you've got a following, you can kind of talk to your people, if you will. But for your shorts, you should just assume they don't know you, like you, or trust you at all. And so you got to bring the value right away. Like the way I look at it with my channel, I'm not ever making shorts just for subscribers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Especially if you know that there's a wider diverse of things that could potentially garner their interest. And something I've been experimenting with is, if we've had a successful video, even if that video has done well long term for it being evergreen, we try to turn that into a short, or what are the various aspects in this video, especially if you have like a 5, 7, 10, 15-minute video. There's multiple things that you're covering throughout that video. And so we'll break that concept up and split those individual concepts into a short. And then that way you can see on a micro level what thing that made this overall video successful. What was that individual thing that may work well with the vertical for Shorts? So I think marketers have a great point there, just to see and experiment what part of your videos would potentially work well as a short form piece of content, and then you can expand it from there.
I love that. I love that. All right, we've got some other Shorts updates. Real quick though, as marketers, we love to see what other marketers are doing, right? Sometimes we're afraid to ask. Sometimes we're worried somebody might not share. So that's why we do the research for you. If you want to see how other marketers are using social media, you're going to want to check this out. We asked almost 2,000 marketing pros about their social media secrets, how they're adapting for the future, and we've packed it up into our 16th annual Social Media Marketing Industry Report. You can get it right now, absolutely free. A few of the things in there. TikTok still growing. Facebook still drives the most traffic off of social media. Instagram and YouTube are the top platforms that marketers want to master. And that's just a few of the things that are in this report. So take a second, grab it right now, the 16th Annual Social Media Marketing Industry Report. Go to socialmediaexaminer.com/24report, okay? socialmediaexaminer.com/24report. So we were talking about the YouTube Shorts algorithm, some other Shorts updates. Tell us what else is going on with Shorts, Diana.
Yeah, recently, YouTube is now introduced where creators can now set Shorts specifically as members only in the upload process. And so what this goes back to an update that we talked about previously, where if you were going to do a short that is for members only, think of it more in like a vlog style or more behind the scenes, and like you're not trying to fight for the attention of that short form audience, algorithm, if you will. And we're really trying to like bring it back behind the scenes and be more personable. Well, now you can already go ahead and set that level specifically in the upload process so that you're not having to do that on the back end. There's one caveat to that though. They were saying that if you have music that you're pulling, like let's say from that Shorts library, let's say it could be a piece that is like super popular otherwise, that will disable the ability to select that it should be a members only. But that's the only small caveat there. And I guess I don't know if that's pushing it more towards like, hey, we're not looking for you to use trending sounds and stuff like that here in this members only type of content. Like just be yourself, or if you have some music, that's fine. But that's the only like little caveat there, which is the only thing I can kind of tie that into to make it kind of make sense as to the why not.
Yeah. Do you know if you can switch it like to be public after it starts as members only with this then?
It still should be available. They didn't say anything where they're turning that feature off. So to my understanding, I believe like if you make it members only, that's fine. You can go ahead and make that public later, but it's more so of knowing that your intent of when you're uploading is for this to be members only. So that way it makes that process so much easier.
Yeah, because that would be slick if you could, send stuff out to your most loyal people first, get some comments, get some likes, get some social proof on, and then release it to everyone else, assuming that YouTube would still push it out, which I would assume they would for a highly engaging video. So yeah, I like that. All right. And then another update about now being able to, you just said, okay, we can't use like, commercial music in these things, but now we are going to be able to remix official music videos from big artists and things like that. Am I understanding that right?
Yes, and more specifically, this gives attribution, and we've seen this recently with Instagram, where they're saying whoever the original owner of that piece is, let's give them credit. And this is kind of playing into the way that they're doing it. So you can go to that official music video, or maybe that song, whether it's by the record company or by the specific artist, and you can select to remix that song, do the green screen, any of those different effects. But more specifically, it'll probably be of more interest to just be able to use the core song from that original owner. That way that attribution and stuff goes back to that original poster and who owns the song versus just somebody else that maybe whose video blew up using it, but they uploaded it through, let's say they edited on their computer first. So it's showing that person as the original. So now it's just giving back to the original owner.
Okay, so if you're in the same camp as us and you've been hearing about YouTube testing A/B, letting us test A/B testing thumbnails within the YouTube platform, we do have an update on that here in just a second. But first, an ad update. I see this as a simpler way for people to get into advertising on YouTube. So fill us in on what this is, Diana.
Yes, and a lot of creators may already be seeing this in their YouTube studio, which is, it used to feel like ads were completely separate, or ads are really disassociated with you being a creator or the way that you are uploading content on YouTube, whereas now they're introducing this promotions tab to the far right up there if you are looking at it in the back of the YouTube studio. And so now you can decide if you want to go ahead and promote a video with the intent to whether it's to grow your audience, get more traction to a video. Caveat with that, though, a little bit of asterisk. This is not for you to get into the YouTube Partner Program, and this is not for you to kind of like be able to buy views legally through YouTube. This is if you want to grow your audience, but those views do not count for you getting into the YouTube Partner Program. So if you have a video that's an ad that takes off, You have to get them in all the other ways organically before you do that. But they are fine if, it grows your audience because you're able to select what's the original intent of you promoting the video.
So you mean like those 4,000 watch hours that you need? They don't. This doesn't count. Okay, or whatever the shorts number is, which is obviously huge. Okay,
It's like
that's
a
good to
million or
know.
something, yeah.
Yeah. So over the years, before we get into this A/B testing thumbnail update, over the years there have been a lot of people who have had a channel and then they tried advertising and they swear their organic reach goes down after they spend money on ads. Have you ever heard that or seen that, or do you have any thoughts on that?
No, I feel like the relationship between ads and like the original core content, I'll call it, has changed over the years. Maybe it used to be, but it doesn't feel that way anymore. Case in point, like one of the big podcasting companies was running ads on one of their videos, exactly like we just talked about in the recent update. But
Okay.
it did not detract away from that video or from their channel. Number one, because it brought more awareness to what they were doing. Number two, it introduced you to, if you like this piece of content and you are now looking at their channel after you watched it, you're like, oh, you have all this other stuff that I'm actually interested in, not just about your software tool or whatever. You actually are covering things that I would care about as to like related or associated pieces of content. So in my personal experience, and then what I've seen from a third party perspective, when it's done right, or when it's done well rather, then it's fine. But if you're pushing out a piece that's, maybe not around what you usually would talk about, it's still more of a turnoff.
Yes.
You just paid
Yeah.
to understand that quickly. That's really all that is. I think it's based on what kind of content are you promoting, what would they usually expect to get, because they want to feel like they found something great, not like you wasted their time almost baiting them. And it's like, hey, did you like this kind of stuff? And it's like, yeah, I love social media marketing content, but then there's no other content on social media marketing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So think about like the ripple effects that can happen, assuming everything's aligned. It's the same audience, it's the same type
Right.
of content, everything like
Right.
that. Yeah, I like that. Okay. So I don't know how many months or if we've gone over a year now it's been since YouTube said, we're going to start giving people the ability to A/B test thumbnails. And we're still not fully we still don't all have it today, but we do have an update on this, which I'll consider good news for now. So what's the latest they've said about this, Diana?
It's definitely been over a year. Okay, we've been waiting.
Has it?
a long
Okay,
time. We waited a long time for this one. So they're saying by the summer, thumbnail tests, and the test and compare is what they're calling it, or TNC. But again, essentially A/B thumbnail testing. It'll be coming this summer. They have been holding it back, trying to perfect it essentially, so that way they get it in the best final form before they announce it. But they're saying by this summer it should be rolling out, and this should be in like not feeling like it's a beta product, but something that's actually closer to being finished, or in a really good place. So we're saying by the summer, so we're gonna have to hold them to it for this one, but they seem confident, so we'll believe them.
Okay. All right. Well, so officially that's less than a month from when we are having the show here right now of the beginning of summer. Of course, that gives them 3 months beyond that. So we'll see.
They got till August to figure it out.
Yeah. Well, so when I saw this story, though, I realized that I've been using this as an excuse not to A/B test my thumbnails, because there's other tools you can do it with, right? And I think when they first announced this, I was like, oh, I got to start A/B testing my thumbnails. And I was like, oh, it's coming native to YouTube? Great. I'll just wait till that happens. So now I've been using it to procrastinate. So that's on me. That's on me. All right. So YouTube announced something called the Members First badge. Can you explain what this means to us and how we can use this?
Yeah, so this is a little bit of waving the carrot in front of the horse, if you will, where if you are doing members only content, which means you turn on channel memberships for your YouTube channel, people now will be able to see there is a video, and you probably can see like the title or whatever, but you cannot see the content. So there will be a little badge underneath the video that says members first, which is to allude that if you're a member, you can actually watch this content. Now, there is still only members only content, but this is to say, hey, like usually what we commonly see in those channels that have them or using them in a good way, I think, This is going out to my members first. Maybe it could be they get a 7-day advance on content. And then after that 7 days, everybody else, it'll become public to them. So that members first badge is to say that's what's happening with this video. It's available for members, but it's only going to be available for, you know, X amount of days if that's what you want. And then it'll become public to everybody else. So you got to wait. So to make probably more people want to convert over, especially if it's a really good piece of content that they can't wait for, then they'll want to go ahead and subscribe for a channel membership.
Do you know, did you see, are they like, if I'm not a member, am I able to see the comments?
Probably not. I don't think that any of that stuff will be available. If you are a member, so what I've experienced being signing up to other people's channel memberships, what I've experienced before this feature came out, if we're both of us are a member, we can communicate because only we can see we're part of that in crowd.
Right.
If I'm signed out of my YouTube account or signing in from a different one, I can't see anything. So I would imagine it's still going to hold under that threshold that if you're members, you can communicate with each other. But if you're not, then you won't even be able to see it. And probably once that video goes live, then all those comments switch over. So I would imagine it's going to stick to that.
Okay, because I'm just envisioning, you know, the FOMO, and it's like you can see the thumbnail, you can see the title, you see everybody saying, you know, this video is fire, this is amazing, this is going to change my life, my business, or whatever, and you're like, oh my God, come on, when's it going to unlock? So we'll see where that goes. All right. Speaking of comments, a new way for us to be able to moderate or control the comments that we're getting on our channel. Tell us about this update.
Yeah, so if you're posting any content to your community tab, you now have the ability to adjust similar to how we can do with our regular YouTube videos to say if you're leaving a comment, should it be restricted? Should we increase the strength of like certain words or what have you, so that filter, or do we just want to turn comments off? It usually would be where you really can't do too much with your community tab content, like your comments there, but now you can from a post level. It's not something that you can just turn on default for all of them. It's a post by post. So that gives you more, you know, flexibility to decide how you want people to engage with this.
Nice. All right. So AI obviously is going everywhere in YouTube, and they're describing this as a Gen AI content inspiration tool. So explain to us what it's just in testing right now. So obviously the information is limited, but tell us what this is and how we can expect to use it if we get it.
Yeah, so they're saying they're basically trying to make the content creation process and the process of understanding your audience that much easier when you look at your research tab. This was a phenomenal update because it gives you more insights that here's not only what your audience is watching, here's other channels that they're engaging with, and here's content gaps. Well, now we'll be able to see, they're specifically saying it'll generate ideas for what kind of content or topics your viewers want to see more of, which ties into an update we talked about quite a while back, which is new and returning viewers. And so if you're attracting new viewers or you're attracting new people to your content and they come back and watch another video and they come back and watch another video, but they're still not, you know, crossing over into a subscriber, now we can see what kind of content and other ideas either would bring more people back that they want to keep seeing more of. Because sometimes you are kind of stuck trying to figure that out. Another thing is they're saying a fresh approach or a different kind of angle that you can approach it from. So stuff that you maybe have made in the past or could explore creating with some other new forms of content, I guess, if you will. Again, like I said, just different angle. So like I talked about earlier, if you had an older video that was successful, maybe you have in your analytics a main part of that video that has done extremely well. They may say, hey, this video or just part of the videos have done well. Maybe you should consider going down this rabbit hole and talking about X. So seeing and getting that kind of information up front makes a whole lot of sense. And then lastly, specifically saying they're going to help you even build out some of this content with outlines and talking points to jumpstart your creative process, as they say. And I like that a lot because, again, they're pulling from all the data that they have access to. And if you know how to read and dissect it, yes, you can probably come up on this estimation of content, but this is just condensing timeframes immensely. Number two, especially if you're a marketer, you may have a virtual assistant, you may have someone else on your team or a creative director where you can say, I need you to go and pull reports or get data use the Gen AI tool to help us pull that together. So when we have our content team meeting, we can go in and really talk about stuff from an educated level versus all of us guesstimating. We put that idea out and it goes up or down, and you know what I mean? So just making that condensed time frames immensely.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this, and I want to tell people listening where they can find it, see if they have it right now in just a second. But we've had amazing tools for keyword research for years, right? And we can look at our analytics, and YouTube has given us so much. But I gotta think, no matter how much of a data geek you are, this has got to be able to do a better job, because there's just to be able to process all of that. And I don't know, if I get access to it, I'm just going to look at it like my new boss, like, all right, good, I'm on it. I'll do it. Let's do it. Cause they can put that stuff together in a way that it would take us so much longer if we could even do it at all. So that'll be interesting.
I mean, just simply the fact that it's both sides of the equation coming together for the creator's benefit. You have all of the watch data, all the stuff that we like and why we as a viewer love the algorithm, because it keeps feeding us more of the stuff that we want, and it predicts very, very well. Well, now it's giving us that insight from the perspective of the person that's watching and engaging on the keyboard. From the creator side, it's like, no, they've been watching this. And I would imagine if this updates on a weekly basis or, daily basis, we can crank out content even faster that's more tuned to make you feel like make your audience feel like you're a mind reader, and you get them so much better. And I just feel like marketing wise, promotions are going to go up the wazoo.
Imagine being like people who create a ton of content. You just wake up every morning and go, all right, what short am I making today? Done.
Yep,
let's do it.
100%.
Yeah. That's really, really interesting. Okay. So if you want to see if you have this, go to YouTube Studio, the analytics tab, and then it'll show up under the research tab on desktop, and you'll be able to find that. So another thing that they were, that they've reported on before, and apparently they're getting more and more serious about it, and this could absolutely, of course, affect us as marketers, is stepping up what they're doing with ad blocking tools to prevent those from running, which is good if you're running ads, of course. But what's the latest that YouTube's sharing about this?
So they are not happy with the fact that the API, or essentially what tools will use to understand the platform better or what have you. Think tools like vidIQ, TubeBuddy, stuff like that. It uses the API to get more data. Well, the ad blockers have also, had access, because I feel like YouTube's like super generous with their access, unlike Facebook can be at times, or, different platforms. Now, what they're saying is like you use a third party app type of ad blocker, they're saying basically you can't watch the videos now. Whereas all of us probably pay for super fast internet, it'll make you feel like your internet's broken because they'll introduce buffering. They're basically making it super difficult in order for you not to be able to watch, even showing you a message that'll trigger this to let you know. It'll say like the following content is not available on this app. And it's like, I've seen that on accident when I was on my other computer that does have an ad blocker that's always on. And I wasn't signed into my YouTube Premium account, which is what they want you to do. If you don't want ads, pay for it. Pay to get rid of it. And so it was saying like this content's not available. And I'm like, well, did the video get taken down? So I pull it up on my phone that is signed into YouTube Premium. Video played fine. So I'm like, all right, I'll sign in. Like, y'all need to calm down. but they're making it super strict now. They're very serious.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that they would just, reduce the experience, as you described, because I can tell you, I've signed up sometimes for a free trial for a software and something's not working right or whatever. And I'm like, I wonder if I just get the paid, if I pay, if it'll fix it. Or you think about, people swear that the moment a new iPhone is announced, their current one stops working as well, or different things like that, which can happen if you update your software and things like that. But,
I mean, it's some truth to that. There's some truth to that. Little conspiracy theories, just a little truth to that.
Diana's here for that one. All right. So I loved and I hated this the first time they announced this, and apparently they're expanding now, which is an AI-powered jump ahead feature. So remind us exactly what this is and what your thoughts are on it.
Okay, so if we're going back in time, I still feel the same way I felt when this jump ahead feature was announced, which was, it's basically to say, hey, other people also skipped this portions of the video. And if you click on this button now that's populating, it's a little tab button that populates above the play bar. and it'll say you can jump ahead to this one. And this is using our AI to say most people skipped this part and you can just go here. I don't really like that as a creator. From a viewer perspective, it may be fine, but from a creator's perspective, it's like definitely not. But what they're doing now, like I said, what the introduction was, if you are a YouTube premium subscriber, so you're paying your 13, 15, whatever bucks per month, I think it's like maybe up to 17, then you'll now get included in this experiment. However, it's only available on the YouTube Android app in the US in English videos. So they're really condensing this down, and it's only going to be available until June the 1st. So we only have a few more days of this, but I think they're saying with a possible extension, I think that extension is likely to happen. And I also think this is something that's probably going to become a little bit more widespread, but that depends if it increases watch time overall and session time on the platform for YouTube, since they care about that. And if they get too much kickback, they'll probably make it something like you can turn this on or off.
Yeah.
I think ultimately, though, this is, I don't think it's going to do as good as it's not. I'll say this. Let me say it in English. I don't think this will perform as well as they may hope in some areas, because yeah, you'll tell me these 2 minutes is what is the most highly viewed portion of a video. But whereas I would have watched 15 if you had just left me alone, and just let me watch it. But now a little chiclet there. So they'll see that average consumption time per user over the app maybe decrease because they're only watching stuff, which either is going to maybe drive them towards more shorter form content. I don't know. So I think this could backfire a little bit on them.
Yeah. So you feel like instead of, they see it as they're going to help people get what they want faster, you see it as it's going to make people jump around more and not have the best experience.
Right, because it's counterintuitive to the new update that they had where they changed the viewing of the app. And so the description, the title, all of the comments and stuff went to the far right, where you usually would see like the up next section. And then you just had these really big double row or triple row of thumbnails to select from. Well, that's not helping as well as they thought. Same thing with this. I think it has the potential, I'll say that, to be more distracting to where somebody may have watched more content, kept them on the platform longer, watching more ads, engaging more with the content, maybe buying something throughout that process. Whereas now you're just giving them this snippet of the content. They can always skip, but when you get distracted, you get distracted. It's hard to earn back that focus.
Yeah, and maybe chapters will be where they settle if they indeed find that, to where chapters obviously are already helpful for that. I use those all the time. So
for sure.
I clicked on a video earlier this week, and the captions were in Portuguese, and I was a little confused, and I was like, am I using a VPN? Did it assign me something? Like, what's going on here? But this story kind of explains exactly what happened. I think this is actually an incredible opportunity for some brands and some marketers. So what's going on with the captions? Why were my captions in Portuguese?
Well, on the Creator Insider channel that gives a lot of the most recent like YouTube updates and stuff like that, if you're a marketer and you're not subscribed there, I highly would encourage you to do so. They have introduced there where you can have auto-generated captions, but it can be available in different languages. So while you're there, if you click on the closed caption button, what you'll notice is that you can go ahead and have it be in a bunch of different languages. Instead of maybe just English. It depends on where you're coming from. But I'd say that was a flub on their mistake. But that's something that's coming. And I think they're probably going to put it there just because they can aggregate the data that much faster. However, I think this is something that will be amazing for everybody else, including that new AI language thing where it translate that content. Like if we're speaking English here, which we are, not just the captions being widely available in, that auto-generated format in other countries, but the audible language being translated into whatever that other preference of language is for whomever's watching, somebody from India, somebody from, like you said, Portugal, it just depends. But that'd be awesome to see both in combination happen at the same time.
Yeah, and this is such an easier step than redoing the voiceover or anything like that, to where, imagine who you could reach. If you had a video, like I do social media tutorials a lot, and sometimes I've made a video that nobody else seems to have, like I have videos that everybody does, and then I have videos that somebody's like, oh, finally. So imagine being able to reach other languages with that same type of thing, a video that, nobody else has made in that language because of the captions. And, to what you're saying, a year from now, it could be where it not only does dub over like in a different voice, but it could still be our voices. And then the next step is where they actually like change the way our mouths move to watch the new language. Like they've already shown this in AI, like it can happen. And so I don't know how much processing power that has or takes or anything like that, but really, really impressive. And if you've ever watched one of your favorite TV shows in another language dubbed over and, like, that's not the right voice, you know how weird that can feel. So
yeah, it definitely feels off. But I think the script, that program they have where if you look down at the script or you look down at the computer, then it looks like your eyes are actually still focused on the camera. You never break eye contact. And that looks almost seamless. It's only small little fractions that you can see where it's not. So if they do the same thing with, mouth movement, as much as we've all made content and our information is on the platform, I'm pretty sure they should be able to pull that together relatively easily compared to some of the other generative AI stuff that they're introducing.
Oh, yeah. I think the tech is already there. It's just a matter of somebody deciding to do it. And then I don't know how much, like I said, because AI takes a lot of processing power.
Right.
And so I would imagine adapting a video, generating a new voice, and translating together, that's the mother load almost for this type of thing. Yeah. So, all right, quick reminder, grab your copy of the 16th Annual Social Media Marketing Industry Report right now. Go to socialmediaexaminer.com/24report, because 2024, socialmediaexaminer.com/24report. And Diana, where is the best place for people to learn more about you?
You can find me at Diana Gladney, of course, on YouTube, and DianaGladney.com is my website, and that's where you find me anywhere on the interwebs.
All right. And if you enjoyed this one, a couple of other podcasts to add to your listening lineup, the Social Media Marketing Podcast, as well as the Marketing Agency Show and our all-new show, AI Explored. Find all of those in your favorite podcasting apps. And until next time, may you be wise with your marketing decisions. Thanks, everyone. Bye.